If you're a man over 50 and you've noticed your energy, drive, and confidence aren't quite where you want them, I want to talk to you about a fix you can make on your very next grocery trip. I'm a physician who works with older adults every week, and I see the same pattern again and again. Men chasing complicated supplements while overlooking the simple foods that either help their hormones hum or quietly work against them. Testosterone isn't just about one lab number. It's about how your body builds, protects, and uses that hormone day after day. The right everyday choices nudge that whole system in your favor. Today, I'm going to show you how 4 specific nuts can support a healthier testosterone environment and steadier performance, and why 2 popular go-to nuts deserve a smaller role if you want less inflammation and better circulation. No hype, no magic powders, just practical physiology you can put to work tonight. Testosterone is chemistry plus delivery. Your body builds it from cholesterol, relies on enzymes that need minerals to do their job, and then depends on healthy blood vessels and responsive tissues to feel the benefits you care about. Strength in the gym, stamina in the bedroom, clarity and drive during the day. Quality fats stabilize the cell membranes where hormone receptors live. Magnesium and selenium behave like keys that unlock steps in hormone pathways. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, so blood can reach the tissues that matter. 4 nuts line up beautifully with those needs, if you pick them thoughtfully and mind your portions. The goal here isn't to drown your diet in calories. Nuts are dense. The goal is to replace weaker snacks with a small targeted serving that moves your numbers and your day in the right direction. Start with walnuts. They look unassuming, but they deliver 2 assets your hormone and vascular systems love. Alpha-linolenic acid, a plant omega-3 fat that helps calm low-grade inflammation, and L-arginine, an amino acid your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells blood vessels to relax and open, which is exactly what you want when you're asking for reliable performance. A stable inflammatory environment helps your receptors respond to hormones efficiently. Healthier endothelium helps that hormone signal translate into real-world results. You don't need a bowlful to get the benefit. An ounce, about a small handful of walnut halves, most days is enough. Keep them plain or dry roasted without seed oils. Sprinkle them on a salad for crunch, or stir them into oatmeal with cinnamon for a steadier breakfast. Store them in the fridge or freezer so the delicate fats stay fresh. Rancid oil is the enemy of vascular health. Almonds belong in your week for a different reason: magnesium. Men over 50 are frequently low on this mineral thanks to stress, common heartburn medicines, diuretics, and a diet that skimps on leafy greens and legumes. Magnesium supports the enzymes involved in testosterone synthesis and helps maintain a healthier balance of free, bioavailable testosterone, the portion your body can actually use. Almonds also carry vitamin E, an antioxidant that helps protect the cells that produce testosterone from everyday oxidative stress. The move is simple: a small palmful of plain almonds, or a tablespoon of almond butter with no added oils or sugars on apple slices, gives you magnesium and vitamin E without the blood sugar spike that drains mid-afternoon drive. Choose raw or dry roasted. Skip the candy-coated and honey-roasted versions, and let protein foods carry the rest of your snack so you're not bottomless bowling through calories you didn't plan to eat. Brazil nuts are a case study in less is more. They're the richest natural source of selenium, a trace mineral your endocrine system uses like a spark plug in antioxidant defense and hormone metabolism. You don't need much. 1 to 2 Brazil nuts a day is typically perfect. Too much selenium can make you feel off, so treat these like a daily supplement you can chew, not a snack to graze by the handful. Fold 1 or 2 into breakfast with your walnuts or almonds, then stop. That tiny habit supplies the cofactor your body uses to protect sperm quality, support thyroid balance that influences energy, and steady the systems that help testosterone stay in a healthier range. Because selenium content varies by growing region, keeping to that modest daily amount is the safest, smartest way to lock in the upside without flirting with excess. Pistachios round out the builder group with a combination of vascular support and smart satiety. They contain arginine to feed nitric oxide production and a favorable fat and fiber profile that helps your arteries behave better while keeping you satisfied between meals. Men who swap evening chips for a small bowl of in-shell pistachios often discover a second benefit. The shelling slows you down, and the protein plus fiber combo reduces those late-night sugar raids that quietly work against healthy hormone rhythms. Go for dry roasted, unsalted pistachios, aim for about an ounce at a time, and pair them with a piece of fruit if you want a little sweetness that won't crash your blood sugar. Over a few weeks, the combination of improved lipid balance, steadier blood flow, and fewer calorie landmines shows up where you care about it, on the scale, in the mirror, and in how reliable you feel. Not every nut is an everyday hero for hormone health. Two popular choices deserve a smaller role, not because they're poison, but because making them your default snack can tilt your internal chemistry in the wrong direction. The first is peanuts. Technically legumes, peanuts are often roasted in seed oils and served heavily salted. They carry more omega-6 fats relative to omega-3s, and in excess, that ratio nudges your physiology toward the kind of low-grade inflammation that blunts hormone signaling and leaves joints cranky. Storage issues can also expose peanuts to residues your liver has to process, and your liver is a major player in hormone metabolism. If you enjoy peanuts, choose dry roasted, unsalted, keep portions small, and rotate them with the 4 builders so they don't dominate your week. If peanut butter is your habit, pick a jar whose ingredient list is just peanuts or peanuts, salt, and treat it like a condiment, not a food group. Cashews are the second nut to handle with care. They're delicious, and in a mixed dish they can certainly fit, but most packaged cashews are oil roasted and salted, adding precisely the fats and sodium you don't need more of. Cashews also lean heavily toward omega-6 fatty acids. When your diet is already rich in seed oils from restaurant food and packaged snacks, making cashews your daily companion can push that ratio further out of balance. Enjoy them occasionally, choose dry roasted and unsalted when you can, and let the rest of your week pull the fat profile back in line with walnuts, omega-3 fish like salmon or sardines, and extra virgin olive oil on your vegetables. The principle is simple. It's the pattern across the week that shapes your hormones' environment, not a single serving here or there. If you like structure, here's a way to fold all of this into your routine without counting anything. Over a typical week, anchor 2 days with walnuts, a small handful at breakfast or lunch, 1 day with almonds, and 1 day with pistachios. Make Brazil nuts a daily 2-bite habit in the morning, and consider that box checked. On the remaining days, repeat your favorites or take a nut break and prioritize fish that bring DHA and EPA to your plate. Keep peanuts and cashews as weekend extras rather than weekday anchors. That 2-1-1 plus Brazil nuts rhythm is easy to remember, easy to shop for, and leaves room for real life when you want a dinner out or a family celebration. Because nuts are calorie-dense, they work best when they replace weaker snacks, crackers, pastries, candy bars, rather than piling on top of them. Portion control doesn't need a scale. A closed palm that you can comfortably cover with your other hand is about an ounce of most nuts. 1 or 2 Brazil nuts is literally what it sounds like. Pick them out and stop. Pre-portion a week's worth into small containers on Sunday, so you're not free pouring from a big bag when you're hungry. Eat nuts with intention, not while scrolling on the couch, and combine them with protein or produce so you feel satisfied. An apple with almond butter, Greek yogurt with crushed walnuts, celery sticks with pistachios, or a couple of Brazil nuts alongside eggs at breakfast turns a snack into a smart input that keeps you out of the pantry an hour later. Quality and storage matter more than people think. Delicate fats oxidize when exposed to heat, light, and air. That stale, slightly bitter smell from the bag you forgot in the pantry isn't just disappointing, it's a sign those oils have turned, and oxidized fats aren't kind to vessels or hormones. Buy smaller bags, keep most of your stash in airtight containers in the fridge or freezer, and refresh a small jar each week for the counter. Read labels with a clinician's eye. Ingredients should be the nut and, optionally, salt. If you see canola, soybean, cottonseed, vegetable oil, glucose syrup, honey coating, or a parade of flavorings, choose another brand. Trail mixes with candy bits and sugared fruit are desserts in disguise. If sodium is an issue for your blood pressure, stick to unsalted. If you're on medications that interact with vitamin K, or your clinician has you on a strict sodium target, loop them in before you overhaul your snacks. And of course, If you live with nut allergies, skip this play entirely and talk about alternative sources of magnesium, selenium, and healthy fats that fit your safety plan. Nuts aren't the whole story. They're a high-leverage detail inside a pattern that supports hormones. Protein intake should be steady through the day, so your body has the building blocks to maintain muscle, which is both a sink for blood sugar and a partner to testosterone. Sleep sets the stage for the hormones that follow. A regular bedtime and a dark, cool room do more for morning energy than most bottles on a supplement shelf. Daytime movement, brisk walks, short strength sessions, improves insulin sensitivity and vascular function, two pillars of reliable performance. Alcohol late at night, ultra-processed sweets, and long periods of sitting work in the opposite direction. The nuts we've talked about slide easily into a day that respects those basics. Think breakfast with protein and walnuts, lunch with vegetables and olive oil, a short walk, pistachios in the late afternoon if you need them, and dinner that features fish, chicken, or legumes alongside roasted vegetables. Small choices, repeated, build the physiology you want. If you prefer to test drive this with a short sprint, map a 7-day upgrade. On day 1, swap your usual bar or cookie for a small handful of walnuts after lunch. On day 2, move peanuts to the back of the pantry and put almonds in front. Pair a palmful with apple slices. On day 3, add 1 or 2 Brazil nuts to breakfast, and then stop for the day. On day 4, make pistachios your evening snack in the shell, unsalted, and pay attention to how much more satisfied you feel. On day 5, scan your labels and evict honey-roasted and yogurt-coated mixes from your routine. On day 6, build a simple dinner salad topped with grilled salmon and finish with a square of dark chocolate and a few crushed walnuts. On day 7, portion next week's nuts into small containers so your future self doesn't have to think. Write 1 note on a sticky and put it on the pantry door. Small handful, plain, replace junk. The first things men usually report after a couple of weeks aren't dramatic miracles. They're the quiet wins that make days feel better. Morning energy holds longer. Workouts feel a notch stronger. Late-night pantry trips lose their pull. The scale nudges in the right direction because you've swapped out empty snacks for something that actually satisfies. The confidence you wanted doesn't come from a risky shortcut. It comes from a body that's being treated like a system instead of a symptom. That's the game you want to play after 50. Fewer swings, more signal, steady inputs that support the hormone environment you need to feel like yourself. If this resonated, start with 1 change today. Put a small bag of plain walnuts or almonds where you'll reach for them. Make Brazil nuts a 2-bite morning habit, and give pistachios the evening slot where chips used to live. Keep peanuts and cashews as occasional extras instead of daily defaults. You're not chasing perfection, you're stacking smart choices. As those choices add up, testosterone doesn't have to carry the whole load, because the rest of your physiology is finally pulling in the same direction. When you're ready, share which swap you made first and what you noticed by the end of the week. Small, consistent moves are how men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s feel more alive. Not for a weekend, but for the long run.